and thank you for joining me on Vacation Station TV, your virtual getaway. Today, where am I? I'm at the Great Smoky Mountains Heritage Center. Most of you know it as the Townsend Heritage Center, but they've recently changed the name. And they're having a really cool festival here today, and I'm inviting you to come along virtually with me to see this wonderful event. This is what you see when you first drive up to the Heritage Center. This beautiful original home of Isaac Anderson, founder and first president of Maryville College. This is his cabin. His actual cabin, reconstructed here, taken down from its original place and reconstructed here. Isn't it gorgeous? This is in Townsend, by the way. Let's go in and take a look around. I've never been in here before. Every time I've come up here, it's been closed. What a wonderful little cabin. Very nice. Isaac Anderson, born 1780, died 1857, founder and first president of Maryville College. Now, if you'd like to know more about that, just pause the video and you can read his bio and know a little bit more about this gentleman. What a nice cabin. Here's some more information you might want to pause and read about. Information on Maryville College. Now, obviously there was an upstairs, but it is closed off, I guess, currently. Yep. That's kind of smart. They used to leave them open, but kids would go up there and do all sorts of stupid things, but here it is. Nice cabin. Very nice. And thank you for joining us and staying with us on Vacation Station TV, your virtual getaway. And here we are at the Pottery Festival at the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center in Townsend, Tennessee. Let's take a look at some of the artistry work. entertainment. And the nice thing is, when you come to the Heritage Center, notice how quiet it is. It's very beautiful here. Walkways, very accessible. This is one of my favorite places, excuse me, and I know that it's one of Marie's too. We always get our yearly pass here, and we just love this place. And it's a place that you should visit too, because it's very unique, very original. And it's got a lot of history here. And during certain times of the year, they have these festivals inside here. And the people will all be decked out in the 1800s garb. And they'll be inside each cabin. Usually this cabin, they'll be cooking in here. I'll show you around, because it's just so pretty here. If you're stressed out from like your drive, this is a great place to come. Now normally there'll be people out here working the loom, and in here they'll actually have the fire going and cooking. They'll rearrange the tables a little bit, but it's active. It's actually living in the 1800s. What a beautiful little cabin. Now there is an upstairs. This is just for bedding. But this is pretty much how the people lived. It was a rough life, very rough life, very hard. And you had to work. You worked a long day. And probably their prize, excuse me, a lot of pollen in the air. And probably their prize would have been the china, which would have been a big deal, because to have china was very rare. You had to be a person of means in order to have this corner cupboard filled with china. And to even have the furniture, which I believe a lot of this is original to the cabin, would have been very special, because most people could not afford to have, not only they would have a fireplace, which would have been one of the main cooking areas, but to have a stove back in those days. And the story goes that this well, I won't tell you. I already know the story, but if you want, pause that and read the story how this stove got here. It is very interesting. We would have dried their herbs up there, which is very typical of that time. Just a beautiful place. I could see me doing this, so it's not alien to me. And it's literally like a little town here. You've got these two cabins here, the church, the barns, and there's more buildings out back. There's an amphitheater down off to the side where they do concerts. And you can always ask the girls up front for the calendar of concerts and other things that they do, and you're welcome to join. Now, of course, if you traveled back in the 1800s, and whether you were on horseback or carriage, you needed a place to stay. And probably you didn't want to stay in a tent. So you came to one of these houses. They would be just a log cabin, and there would be a posting, and on the map it would tell you that this is a place to stay. And in those days, 31 1/4 cents for the coach, breakfast, and half a bed. 25 cents local or traveler breakfast. 12.5 cents half bed, 25 cents whole bed. If you want to get a whole bed. Imagine that. Just sleeping with some stranger. It'd be kind of awkward, wouldn't it? There's the beautiful hearth. And very few amenities. Really the basics. Just to spend the night. It's not a Hilton. Never was supposed to be. Didn't even know what there was. I'm sure they did. What's a Hilton? But there's a full bed, and that's, I guess, can be considered a half bed or a child's bed. But you would literally, if it was half a bed, you'd be sleeping on one side and somebody would be sleeping on the other. Half bed. And of course, this is a rope bed, and you can see the ropes right there. And these would have been tightened up. I know I've showed some of you this before, but it is the way it was. This had to be tightened in order to make sure you had a good, comfortable sleep. That's where you get the old term, sleep tight, don't let the bed bugs bite. From tightening the ropes and making sure there were no bugs. And there's your bathroom right there. There's your bathroom right there. Of course, I don't think you would. Well, you might. If it was really snowy and nasty out, you'd do your business if you had to, right? Or you go right outside the door, do your business, and come on back in. Just one of those things. The way it is. Of course, these cabins give you a beautiful view of the Smoky Mountains, which those are the Smoky Mountains right there. The working barn, of course. See, the hay would be stored up above here. And then there would be, this would be for livestock, I'm assuming. What always intrigues me and amazes me, these are the hinges. Wooden hinges. Look at that. This is how it worked. This is how it was. There's some information on the wooden hinges. Still frame your picture. Pause it. And you can learn more about it. More information about these little barns right there. Pause your frame. Very good. Including in their diet would have been chicken and beef, but let's not forget pork. The smokehouse, very important. Smokehouse was very, very important for these people because there was no refrigeration in those days. So they would boil to strip off the fur and stuff from the animal, and then of course that would have been the scalding water. And then after butchering it, they would place the pieces of meat right in there with salt, and they pack it down, pack it, and that would preserve it. Then they would hang it, they'd wrap it and hang it in there for the season, so they would have fresh meat, or at least salted meat, salted pork. You could do the beef, you could do jerky and stuff. Anything can be salted, but that's how they did it. There's no refrigeration. Of course, you could dig a pit, you could put it in the ground, but you'd have to deal with the bears because they'll dig it right back up. And they will. It's such a beautiful place. I won't take you through the whole thing. That will remain for you to see. And I do suggest when you come up to the Smoky Mountains, come to the Great Smoky Mountain Heritage Center, and also go to the travelers there, what do they call that? The Visitor Center. I highly suggest doing that. It's beautiful there. Very, very pretty. Just another one of the great places in and around the Smoky Mountains. And we're not very far from Cades Cove. This is Townsend. This is where you do, if you want tubing, this is where you're going to be doing your tubing. In Townsend, Tennessee, it is literally the tubing capital of the world. This is where tubing goes on. This is it. This is the place. So when the summer months come, you're going to come to Townsend, Tennessee. These great Smoky Mountains.